Hi guys, welcome back to Lighthouse Projector series with Annita and Juliette Stapleton. We want to talk about something that is fundamental, I think, in not just in business, but in life to get a really good understanding, especially if you are into human design, or maybe you just came across it. Maybe you've been around because it's not something that I find that what we're going to talk about today can be something that actually, no matter how long you're experiencing or experimenting with your human design, it still can interfere because it comes from our mind that is a big saboteur. And the topic, as you probably know already from the title of this episode, we want to talk about making decisions and especially what is correct. Because the when you come to human design, it's amazing because not only it explains you why you are your beautiful weird self and that it's okay to be that, but it also gives you a strategy to make decisions. And as you know, and as we all know, it's the decisions we make in life is why we are here and why we're in the situation that we are. Sometimes it's not really nice to acknowledge. Our brain doesn't like to acknowledge that, but it's true. And therefore, of course, learning to make decisions that are more aligned, not with what others and the world is dictating you, but what's true to yourself. It takes courage, frankly. It takes courage. It's not a simple thing, and it's not an easy thing to do, although it brings ease when you master it, when you learn it. And human design is fantastic. It gives you where that decision making. Most of the time, it's in your body. A small number of people have a type where it's maybe on the outside. There's a strategy how they can get to that clarity and make decisions that are correct for them. There's also, but this is only one tool, right? This is not. It's very important to understand that human design. It's like a map. It's not a dogma. It's not a philosophy, even. It's not something that you have to do this way or else. It's not that at all. It's just a map to, how your energy flows. So if you want to go from A to B, when you follow your own unique map, you will get to B in a way that is correct for you. So let's talk about this. What is correct? Because just last week, myself and Anita, we were talking, we just had a casual conversation. And Anita blew my mind because she just put, it's not that something that I don't know, but how she put it was so brilliant. She said, yeah, a lot of people, when they say correct, incorrect, they just straight away jump into right or wrong assumption. So correct is right and incorrect is wrong. And I think that maybe it's the conditioning. I think maybe it's a human nature of this duality, black and white, day and night, yes and no, right and wrong. This is for our brain, for our mind. It's natural, danger or safe or dangerous, that it's lizard brain there making this dual choice, and not much in between in a way. But it's so important that we reframe when it comes to making decisions that are unique for you. We have to reframe this from right or wrong to just a direction that will take you there with not the most ease, but with things you need so that you, wherever your destination is, you come there with the alignment of circumstances, what you need to experience. Because when we're talking about alignment, there's another little, mind-blowing idea is that alignment, people think is like heaven or something, it's something like all positive. Alignment is not positive. Alignment is something that's correct for you to experience so that you can fulfill your purpose in life. That's how I see this. So alignment can be a tough lesson, but it will align you. There are people who are born, for example, under a cross of tension. They're here, or a provocation. They're here to put tension on others in different flavors. That's not necessarily a life of roses, it's more a life of thorns. But when you reframe it for yourself, when you understand your role, then you can make decisions that is aligned with this role, which can be framed as something like struggle, but it also can be framed as this is your role in life. This is what you do. I'm getting goosebumps talking about this because, like with everything, you can reframe whatever it is your design is in a way that feels so powerful, and then everything clicks. And that's what I feel is alignment. And this is And I was so excited. So I asked Anita straight away, can we please record this episode? Because we need to talk about this, the right or wrong. Anita, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. We are designed to judge, is this right, is that wrong? We've learned from day one, this is right, this is wrong. And in many different ways, good, and in many different ways, not so good, because, you're only right, you're only correct if you're doing what I say you want to do. There's a lot of manipulation in relationships and work or whatever. So what I find is that we have also romanticized flow. We've romanticized, and I'm speaking as a 5-1, romanticized relationships and work, and that out there, my job, my relationship is going to bring more flow into my life instead of realize that it's my job. And so with human design, it gives us this beautiful strategy to learn what our own inner alignment, our own inner flow is, so that we can discern, oh, is this for me or not? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about, oh, that isn't for me. Okay, that's fine. We have a lovely saying in Ireland, and I know I've said this over and over, but it's so true. You know, people will come in with their ideas and we can say, oh yeah, but that's lovely for you. It's just not my cup of tea. So we don't have to get into a battle if someone is doing something and it's not correct for us, or it's not right for us. The trouble is we've made it wrong because we're also trying to fit in.
Mm.
So how do we fit in and be ourselves at the same time? And this is where our decision strategy just really helps us to understand that it's about our flow. I would change the question to, is this correct for me or right for me, to does this work for me? Does this flow for me? Is this something that works for me? Because when it works for me, it also takes the judge off, because it doesn't necessarily have to work for anyone else. And that's the second piece. We take discernment out of context
Yeah.
because we focus on one thing. This works for me, it doesn't work for you. That means you're not from, we join the dots in a way that isn't aligned. We've learned to do that based on trying to fit in. And with our work, you can imagine understanding your decision strategy, your ability to discern what's right for you. It can help you discern what course to run, what idea to take, what direction you need to go in. And when you look at human design, what we find is, if you have an open G center, for example, your center for love and direction, you're designed to try different things, try different directions, and be able to discern what's correct for you, right? But your decision strategy is different to your love and direction if you have an open G center, right? So what happens is people are saying, and oh, follow your heart, and you're following your heart, but it's not your heart. It's not your heart's desire. So you're following what you think your heart's desire is. Or when you're with other people, you think, oh, yeah, I love that idea. Or, I love that idea of going in that direction. But that's not your decision strategy when it's an open center for you. So a lot of people are following someone else's heart and wondering why they feel unfulfilled, wondering why it's not working for them. And, it's like this can be so simple when you understand, number one, how you're designed to make decisions, but number two, how you create an environment to support that, to make sure that in alignment with you. And as you say, with alignment, that's an interesting word, because aligned, it means in alignment with self. Aligned, you could be aligned with other people's ideas of doing things. But the truth is, we're talking about alignment here, is where you can open your mind to the possibility of being a part of a group and be yourself at the same time. And this is the learning that we're going through with the whole of astrology, and very much in the moment we are, where the alignment of, or when you're with people and they want you to do what they want to do and you don't, how do you say no without offending them? Because, so many people, oh, I better say it. Look, they're all doing it. I better do it. But the truth is, When you're clear in your no and you say it, people don't question you. When you question your no, people will question you when you're questioning your decision. So, in this era of huge information availability, to me, artificial intelligence is just the same as other people's beliefs and opinions because that's what it is. It's a mishmash of other people's beliefs and opinions pulled together. So, you know, I because it's one of my pet peeves that I see people trying to, oh, is this AI right? Is this AI wrong? And I'm kind of there, for God's sake, it's just a bunch of opinions like what we've been associated with already. It's just a wonderful way of pulling them together that might be useful for you and, in your work. You still need to discern, is
Yes.
it for you or not? And another thing that I find people are looking for this big aha, this massive big, oh my God, neon lights thing
Yes.
for them to follow. And the truth is, your inner yes, it's quiet. It just feels so normal. It just feels so correct for you. There is no big bells and whistles. It's just a very quiet inner yes. And when you know what that is for you, it's just so empowering. It means your timing changes, your ability to manifest. You're not trying to manifest ideas and opportunities that aren't yours. You're not trying to go in directions that aren't yours, trying to push and make things happen that aren't for you. Um, and you really start to align with what is correct, what is not even correct. I don't like to use that word, with your path, your purpose. That's
I love this, and thank you so much for sharing. This is an interesting, some of the interesting topics that you've raised here. Especially with following other people's correctness or alignment. I personally do like the word correct, but you can only use this word when you understand what it means for you. There's one thing, and maybe this is my third line, is saying there's one thing I notice when I work with clients, especially with new clients who come to me, and they are looking for this way to make decisions that then they can find something that is aligned with who they are. But there's one big but, and this is third line, and a strategist, a marketing strategist, a very left brained person here telling you that you have to experience. You will not know. A lot of people want to come to a strategist, for example, and say, give me a strategy that will require minimum effort and maximum results. And I can't, and nobody can. In fact, those people who will tell you, oh, yeah, sure, I'll give you that strategy, run, because nobody can give you that strategy because you have to figure out what is aligned with you as you experience it. If you can't know what's going to feel good to you, and not in the beginning when it's tough, when we're starting something, and I'm the first to speak, I am always struggling with beginnings of everything. Every process in the beginning feels absolutely terrible. Yes, I know in my design there's the gate 16, I have the whole channel there. Difficulty in the beginning in my Chiron, the gate 3. There's a lot of things like that, but it doesn't matter, to be honest with you. We find these things in our design like almost as an excuse. It doesn't matter. The bottom line, starting is tough. Anything new is scary, doesn't feel safe. We procrastinate, we try to avoid it. So we need to get over that stage, build the momentum, and only then, looking back in hindsight, you will really clearly see if it's aligned with you or not, because otherwise you just don't know. And that's another big mistake that people are making when they're looking for something that's correct for them, but they're afraid to even try. And when you're afraid to try and you're looking for that silver bullet or that magic answer, and why is that guru so successful? Why is this person saying that they're only 1 year in business and they already made 400K? I just saw a post this morning about this. But what they're not saying, you can't just take it at a surface value and say, oh, that's the reality of the online business. No, it's not. We don't know who they work. They might be working with the corporate world. There's completely different price tags on their services. We don't know a lot that is behind this kind of statement. But you need to come back to you, and you need to figure out things that are right for you, but you will only know if you try. Right? So that's one of the things that I feel like when you know your inner guidance, it helps. But again, it's not a black and white thing. Sometimes the inner guidance will bring you through things that don't work, so you have the clarity. And as I'm saying this, I'm realizing this is such a 1-3, shatter others' illusions and tell them
Yeah,
what
it really
doesn't
is.
work.
Yeah,
But that
very
I
much.
really love, because this is my role, right? I need to tell people out there, don't be naive. Don't be silly. You're an adult, right? Start thinking realistically, because that realistic thinking will take you so much further. So I will give you like a tangible example. I'm a splenic projector. The spleen doesn't have a yes. The spleen really has a no. It just has a safe or dangerous feeling. So I am much more, I feel much more acutely when something is a no and it's a danger, and I have physical kind of manifestation of that. When there is a yes, it's not a yes like the sacral like expansion of energy. I am sure that there's other things in my design that help me with this intuition, that I have like goosebumps, and this sense that I sometimes say, oh, this is, I get goosebumps, this is sense of alignment, this is my spleen is saying yes. But truly it doesn't, because when there's a yes, there's a complete neutral, non-emotional, not exciting, just like, okay, it's safe in this moment for you. Tomorrow, maybe it's not going to be. So it's kind of tough to make decisions business wise when you're like this, living in the moment, and you don't know how you're going to feel about things, the next day. This is what's important to really understand about with human design, about your, decision making strategy, so that you can use it to your advantage, so because then again, what I said about, and this is purely how I see this, my personal opinion, you have to try things because you don't know until you've lived through this experience. You can't just take somebody's word for it and then spend 5 years doing this and nothing happens, and then, you don't know what just happened because you didn't, or you need to try things to see whether they can work or they can't work. And you need to get over this initial difficulty because you don't know, it's unfamiliar, you haven't experienced or you haven't done it long enough to see any results. It's like a diet or, working out. If you want to see results, it's going to take much longer than you initially think. It's not like a couple of times you went to the gym and you have a six pack. Never going to happen. So this is exactly the same approach here. But when you are making decisions based on your body or your strategy, your route to that, your journey. You know how they say trust your journey. So the journey is made from discovering what works, but more often, in my opinion, what doesn't work. Because then you can put those in a big column. That doesn't work. I don't have to do this. Posting on Instagram every day doesn't work for me because it doesn't actually bring me any clients. I tried it for 6 months. Nothing happened from that. Yeah, there are people commenting sometimes and liking. That's nice, but they don't, it's not about these people not wanting to ascend. It's just the fact that that strategy, for me personally, didn't bring me any clients. No point doing it again, right? There's no point doing it. You've tried for a long time, 6 months. That's a good time. Sometimes I unfortunately don't remember who specifically came up with this, and I tried Googling and looking for maybe they're out of business, but there was a really good concept about having one idea or one offer, 1 year. It feels like, oh my God, what if it doesn't work out? But you need to try to put this enough effort into something, right? And as you go with that 1 year, for example, obviously you have your inner guidance. And there's other ways to feel, to check in with yourself. Am I, in this strategy, for example, that I'm using, does every element feels like I could learn this, I could push through this deep down, or it feels completely against your human nature. I'll give you an example. For many years, I was an organic marketing specialist for Facebook. Organic marketing involves by default the organic marketing strategies. You post a lot and you engage a lot, and you also with this engagement you send friend requests to strangers because you have to grow the audience, and you connect with them in Messenger. And I can tell you that for someone like me on a personal level, this is the worst thing I could be doing. And I did do it, and it felt awful for years, but I just kept doing it. Did it bring me many clients? No, it actually didn't. Because I was doing something that is against my nature. I am not someone who reaches out to people. I sometimes feel like, oh my God, I want a friend to, go out or something. And I don't reach out to any of my friends. I'm sitting there waiting until they reach out to me because it's just not natural, right? So I know through experiencing this, and then questioning, saying, hey, is this actually something I do in real life? Do I have a big social life? No, I don't. So how can I show up and still grow my audience and have this, expansion without compromising who am I as a person? That's where the decision making and knowing your design is so cool. I can then, think, okay, I like sharing my experience and my thoughts. There's your blogging, there's your books. There is this other way to be discoverable without you actually hustling. And you know what? My business only became much more consistent, and clients are finding me, and hence less effort, right, on a daily basis. Less effort, much more results. So you have to figure out what works for you, but you have to try. And I think that when we're approaching these, making decisions as correct or incorrect, and we're kind of circling back to the beginning of it, if we apply right or wrong to this, that's where we're going to be wrong doing it, right? Because the correctness is more like a journey, just experiencing this. You need to know, you need to experience what's doesn't work for you, and that will be also a correct thing for you to know that something doesn't work. You've tried it, you gave it, but now you've learned about it. You are now educated. You can make your educated choices. Or somebody gives you a strategy, and I started talking about this, but the strategy includes so many steps, but you can, and I'm going to give you permission. You can cherry pick what you're going to do out of this strategy, and what elements, some core elements you can't not do, but there's elements of this any strategy that you can decide not to do because they don't feel like this is aligned with you, and you can then adapt whatever strategy you're taking. You can adapt it to your energy levels, to the way you interact with the world and with people. You can do that. There is no special secret strategy that makes people successful. It's only you trying, testing, and then figuring out your way. That is a correct way. That is an alignment with yourself, but it's a process. That's why I think I really love how, and it was Raoul who said, this is a map. This is a map of your energy flow. This is not right or wrong, and it's just a map. This is mechanics, how things work, and you can just be aware of them so that you can make decisions that will bring ease when you overcome the hardships of, like, even, or you need courage to make these decisions, basically. How do you feel about these things, Anita?
Yeah, yeah, that's a very 1-3 approach to life, trying things like that. But to me, the decision is the foundation. I make the decision as to what to try. Am I getting a yes for that or not? So it's more based, it's underneath. So exactly as you said, if you have the decision or your decision, or you get a yes for something at first, our decision strategy is a moment by moment process. Things do change. Suddenly, it might work out that, oh my goodness, maybe you process through an inner block, or you process through a money scarcity threshold, and suddenly what worked yesterday is not going to work again today for you. You need to constantly be adjusting. And I think that adaptation is what we're talking about. But the
Yeah,
inner yes is, where do I start? What do I try? Because I can't try everything. It's going to cost me a fortune, right? So I just wanted to
totally.
make
Yes,
sure
yes.
we're
Yeah, I did
clear.
not, in no way I meant try everything. You have to make a
Yeah,
decision. It's like,
yeah.
feel the fear, but do it anyway. But you still have to feel like some kind of inner pull. Like video, for example, a lot of people don't want to do video, right? They are like, oh, I don't look good. I don't, we can also argue that nobody else feels like this because we all look at you and hear you the way you sound. You're the only one who doesn't, who's not clued in on how it actually happens. But the point is that it's always going to feel in the beginning a bit scary. But somewhere deep
Oh,
down,
absolutely.
you will feel like, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna try this. And yeah, there's gonna be, it's not gonna be perfect for a while. So you're right, absolutely right,
Yeah,
Anita. It is an inner yes before you
yeah,
try. Just don't
it
expect
is.
perfection from the start.
Oh, exactly. Well, the expectation, that's all it's super, on top of. But the decision is like driving a car. When you know how to make that decision, now you know at least that you can be your own guide, and that you can follow through on things that align with you. I find our biggest battle, especially in business, is trying to adhere to strategies, or $100,000 strategies, or $1 million strategies that genuinely aren't correct for us. And as projectors, our big thing is, well, ask more questions, dig deeper with your yes, you know? So you say, for example, as I said before, if you've a open G center and you meet someone with a defined G, that's the center for love and direction. They might say, oh, I love this idea. For your decision strategy to make it with that person is not correct for you. You need to be in your own space, in your own place, and generate that environment. But also, as you say, then try, then adapt. But a decision is, our yes, no is a moment by moment process. Life is moment by moment. And for you as a 1-3, you love to try it, right? I
No, I
love,
don't. I have
well,
to I'm gonna bust
and
that myth about one
but
threes. We
what I'm
don't
trying to
like,
say is
we just do it because it just, our body just pushes us into
you
probing
need
everything.
to. You need to try it. If you don't try it, you can't share it. For me, I
Yeah.
need information first. I
Yeah.
have to have that. I actually have to have that inner alignment
Mm.
before I take the action or decide whether it's practical or not. For a 1-4 or for someone with the fourth line, they're going to want to have the opportunity set up already. They feel awful if they quit a job or quit a relationship without having something to step into. So, there's a place where that decision is the baseline. Is this a yes or a no for me?
I love
And
what you may
then,
I just add before we kind of pivot from the fourth line, because if your
yeah,
body is the fourth line, this is my observation. Fourth line wants to connect, but it doesn't want to connect, as you said, it's looking for the opportunities. So the biggest problem with the 1-4, 2-4 is you go online, you post something, nobody like made an open big song and dance, and you think you failed. And that's just, it's really, you have to be aware that your body is looking for opportunities, but you also need to understand that these opportunities do come in the long term, not immediately. So you have to continue doing it without the immediate opportunity. So this opportunist, it's so interesting, even if you don't think about it, because your body doesn't think about it, it just does it, but it gets disappointed. It just feels then exhausted from this whole thing. So this is, if you're a 2-4, 1-4, you have this fourth line body, and then you're tired of it all. You can address this. You can just be aware that maybe there was an expectation of an opportunity with your decision that it's a little bit too soon. You need to keep nurturing, keep nurturing. The opportunities will come, but you can't be focusing on them as an expectation. Because, in human design or not, when you build expectations, that's the shortcut to being disappointed. Best to
absolutely.
to approach things with an open heart and mind.
Yeah, that's why you move along, and we all do have difficulties doing new things. It takes longer because we haven't done it before. The
Yeah.
only reason we think we'll get a job done in 2 days is because we have expectations as such. But usually, as you say, the expectations are BS. Really, it's you need to be able to take on a new project, but using your decision strategy to navigate what brings the flow as you go. It's still, it's like it's still difficult, but when you know where you are aligned with different opportunities and actions, it makes a difference to your beginning. And, really the biggest thing we're battling is the expectations, right? We're battling what we think we should do as opposed to what works for us. And it kind of, our knowing our inner yes allows us to be able to navigate our new pathway. And remember, it's new, so it hasn't been done before. You're bringing your specific, unique gift through here. It hasn't been done before. So looking for external references is always going to be a huge distraction.
Yeah.
It's always going to be. So learning how to follow that inner yes really helps you navigate the difficulties that we find with beginnings as humans. Because, what people don't realize as well is when you're up leveling, you're breaking through your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And when you're breaking through your comfort zone, it's uncomfortable. I'm sorry. It just is, right? And so people who say, and you'll find a lot of gurus say, if it doesn't feel, if it feels uncomfortable, stop. And I'm kind of there, no, don't stop. Reconnect. Yes, do stop maybe. Reconnect with your alignment, with your inner yes. And then ask, is this a yes for me?
Yeah, do
It's
I still want it? It's like it's important
exactly.
thing because sometimes, in every process, not just in business, but I think that we sometimes forget when we kind of separate business from what we experience in life. But in life, you'll be doing something and it's just not for you. It's like it's not it's uncomfortable because it's not you. There's also other things that are uncomfortable because you suck at it at the moment, but you kind of hope that you're going to get better. I'm thinking about my air yoga class. When I started the class and I was a little overweight, and and I was complaining, and our trainer, wonderful girl, but she's like skinny magic, and I was saying, well, my ass is much bigger than yours, so you can do this flip and I can't do this flip, and it was all nonsense. It was just that I was just a beginner, and it was tough. I was the moaniest one in the class. Things are hard in the beginning, but I knew deep down that this is something that is bringing me to, I liked it. Deep down, it was still a yes. Even if
Yeah,
without trying to reason it, deep down it was a yes. And then fast forward a couple of months, she was saying, "Oh my God, Juliet's my pride and joy. I was so good. I've gained strength." It was, I
yeah,
was literally an example for new people. And
yeah.
I thought to myself, how did that happen? I didn't notice. How did this happen? Because you continue, right? And repetition, but it was inner knowing that it's my thing. But then you can go to somewhere else and just know it's not your thing. It's just no matter how much you try, it's
That's so true. And or you might know it's your thing, but you go to the wrong teacher at first. And you kind of go, ew, I
Oh,
don't
that
like
happened to my salsa class at the same time.
yeah,
I went to the
yeah,
salsa
yeah.
class, and our teacher, maybe she was, I don't know what energetically she was. She was impenetrable and really didn't really give any support or, anything like that. And I felt so terrible. I tried twice a week for a month,
Mm.
and then I quit at the end. I've learned something about the whole salsa thing. I've learned something about your individual amplitude of things because the teacher was like really, really, like she had a huge amplitude in her steps. And I've learned that I need very, very short ones, but I was trying to be like her. And so I stumbled and I couldn't follow the choreography. And I, for years, thought before that I just can't do choreography. And this misaligned, you would think, experience taught me so much about the power of your own amplitude, your own cycle, your own, how much you're going to do that. Apply that to business. How much are you going, how loud you're going to be on social media, how much you're going to be doing, touching base with people. You have your own amplitude in everything. You need to find it. This is where the correctness and not right and wrongness is
Yeah,
in question. It's such a beautiful, so yes, yeah, you can, even the experience that is not aligned, it
exactly.
it could be correct for you.
Exactly. And even when you are in that thing, because I know I was doing angels years ago or learning about angels, and I was there, oh my God, that teacher is terrible. But it wasn't that the teacher is terrible. It was my whole instinct. My soul was saying, no, it's not that they're terrible. It's just that you're not going to do it that way. And
Yeah.
I think this is what the 5-1 brings to the world is, when you feel it's off, it doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. It might means that you're probably in the wrong environment with it, which
Yes.
is key discernment for business, right? But my really good example is public speaking. I followed, I knew I had to get out there and talk. I knew the videos was correct for me. And people seeing me, especially in the States, I had to start from scratch. Seeing me and learning to know me was always the better path to me because I make a lot of sense, right? But with public speaking, I remember going out initially and doing talks in different businesses and freaking out because I was trying to adapt a public speaking method that was just completely wrong for me. I'm much better to sit down and say to people, right, I'm here, I'm an expert in stress management, in how to connect to spirit or how to really practically manifest things in your life, right? How to bring that idea to fruition for you. What are your questions? And that was my way of public speaking, getting people to ask me questions so that I could bring the guidance through for them. And it just, it was so funny. I remember being in a forum, there was many businesses represented in the room. And I remember saying, look, you all have your own issues with stress management, with the impacts of stress management on your staff. Tell me, what do you need to hear today? What do you need advice on? And suddenly, like the whole room lit up. And I remember being told afterwards, oh my God, no one has ever delivered a talk like that. And I was there, I know, because I've learned that that's my way of doing it
Mhm.
rather than standing up there and talking at you. And, it just, And then for me, of course, it was so much more relaxing because I was there. So much easier to know what the room needs.
Yes.
And before, rather than coming in and assuming what the room wants. And that's a huge, like, big one for marketing is don't assume that they want something. Find out what they need. That's one thing. But the other thing is know what expertise you're delivering so that they know what to ask you for. So these are key things in your business and what you want to do. And sometimes it's just that most natural way of kind of thinking, oh my God, when I am terrified delivering information to a group, I'm absolutely useless. They don't hear me. They see the terror. It's really weird. It's really weird. But how many people are worried about giving presentations, about stepping out there because they're worried that what they'll say as a 5-1, you got to say what you got to say. You got to say what you got to say. And when you're in alignment, what you say is instantly magnetic to them. So as a 1-3,
Same.
you talk about, yeah, exactly. It
Same.
is.
You have to start shattering illusions left, right. You cannot hold back thinking you're gonna trigger people. You just have to, because yes, the trigger will happen, but the right people that are correct, that are aligned for you, they will say thank you. Because just recently a client said, I don't want to be in an echo chamber anymore. I don't want people to say, oh yeah, this is a great idea you have. And then I waste time. I want someone like you to come in and say, this is delusional. Wake up. In not
Yeah,
in so many words, not in these words, but and
yeah,
it's great. You know your role.
yeah, exactly. So that was part of my discernment, me thinking, first of all, you go through a loop, right? First of all, I was there, oh my God, I'm terrible at public speaking. I was making myself wrong. I was there, oh my God, I turn into an absolute, I can't get the words out of my mouth, right? Into kind of, hang on a second. What if it's not you? What if you're just trying to do something in a way that's not correct for you? How would you? And I started looking at situations. Where do I feel most natural to deliver information? All that
I
stuff.
love that.
So, I literally, and as you said, it was difficult at the beginning, mostly because I was trying to verbalize something that in a way that was wrong for me. And I started questioning how I might do it differently rather than making myself wrong or saying that the audience is intimidating me. And what I love about we all experience all the energies. As the different types and the different profiles, we're here to teach people how to experience those energies in an aligned way, right? So I think the 5-1 teaches people how to do it your way without apology. The 1-3 says you have to try it. You can't, just be in a mind about everything. You need to try it before your mind can start to work with your decision strategy to navigate your path. I mean, it's just
It's so interesting. We've been doing so many episodes, guys, if you're watching us, we had the whole year of transits and tactics. We discussed that. We have this lighthouse projector series, two projectors talking about stuff, right? We had an interview on my visibility by design with, and there's two completely different in a way energies. There's a 5-1 and there's a 1-3, and the way, the 1-3, and you're saying, we have to try, and I'm like, no, I hate trying. It's just that you cannot comply to what other people are saying is true because you've tried it, you failed, and you say, no, this is like this and this and this, there's cracks in this foundation, we need to tell you because I've tried. It's so interesting that, one thing I've learned, and I say that always and openly. You just said something, Anita. You said we're here to teach people how to experience these energies. So here's two people. There's a 5-1 and there's a 1-3. The more we stick to what we are broadcasting, the more influence it and good results, positive results for us, the more magnetic we individually become. Because what's magnetic is that it's just how people, it's palpable energy that you are true to yourself. I'm getting this feedback in the last 2 years. I become much more, to a point of arrogance, I would say, much more leaning into this, my own design, because it feels natural, not because I'm trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole. I'm not doing that. It feels natural, but I also see that when I don't hold back this specific angle, this specific thing that wants to come out, that's where the real transformation happens. And then we take these relationships and go into the next level because there's truth. And you channeling and you're inspiring with your truth. The same with the 5-1. 5-1's, the fifth line is known for hoarding their specialty. I've written a couple of blog posts about this because it's fascinating, but they will, when they get the courage to show up with their special knowing, their special opinion. That's the first line that investigates, not that you are like a professor, like this is not the kind of investigation, but your body is constantly processing information so that you can make this, like your brain then makes sense and delivers these practical solutions, universalizes them, right? But this all happening, you're bringing this to the table. If you're hoarding this special thing, you will never have the discipline to show up. Because one thing, and I'm sure, Anita, you agree with me, the more you lean into your design, the more confident you become. Then trying new things, in my case, or trying new things or showing up. It's not a matter of like, oh, I'm not sure, what do they need? I don't even care what they need. I have something to say. You have something to say. And that's what your example of public speaking. I love it. You have
Mm.
something to say. Here's my expertise. What problems do you have? How can I
Yeah.
help you? What
Yeah,
practical solutions can I bring you? But I need to know your
exactly.
problems because, if you don't tell me what's going on, then how can I help you?
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. This is what we are here. I think that this episode is all about what is correct. Correct is not wrong or right. It's just what's true to you. And
Mm.
and it takes courage to admit that some things are true to you because sometimes they're very scary. It's scary to start telling truth. It's scary to sometimes feel like, you might actually put people off with this. But I know that the right people are never put off. Your correct people who are aligned with you, your ideal clients, we call them ideal clients in business, they will stick around. And you know what? To know who your ideal clients are, you actually have to have like a bunch of clients before you even determine that. So if you're just starting your business and you're like, oh, how do I attract only ideal clients? Well, just get as many clients as you can possibly, and then you will see who is ideal and who's not. Right now, you just don't know. You have to try. So yes, so
Exactly.
I'm excited we were able to give this, these perspectives,
Mm.
because this is one of the fundamental reframing that's required, I think, especially when, if whether you know about human design, whether you don't know about human design, what's correct for you, your thing. It's not a right or wrong. You're not going to make a mistake if you do something that's incorrect. You will learn that it's incorrect. You will feel it. First of all, you feel it. We always feel that when we're doing something that's incorrect for us, it just feels so icky. When we're doing something tough that's correct for us, we know it's tough. We may procrastinate, we may kind of like resist it, but deep down we know it's for us and we continue. So there is this guidance. And there's more, if you follow Anita, you can learn about, how to tap into the power of
Yeah.
angels, how to actually get that guidance. If that's, if this is something that pulls you in and gives you that extra level of, when you feel like you can't do it yourself and you need some extra help. And that's what I do too. We are not robots. We are humans. We have to accept this human nature. We're not always strong. We're sometimes really weak. We need extra help. So there's practical ways to tap into that and learn, that. And if you're looking at your strategies and you don't know, how to get the clarity, come to me. I will bust the illusions so that you can then look at the practical things that are left behind to try, right? And we can try and see and experience. And sometimes you need to just experience something for 5 minutes to know it's your thing. That's my story with, being a biker chick, denying the idea that I will ever get on a motorbike, and then after 5 minutes for the first time being on a motorbike, knowing this is it. And I've traveled over, the whole Europe on a motorbike.
Yeah.
So this, and it's, there are chances to die on a motorbike that are much higher than, for example, flying or boat trips. And I wouldn't go on a cruise because, Titanic and all that, but I will go on a motorbike. How weird is that? When you know what's your thing, because you've tried, so much opens up, so much experience, so much, like the whole new era opens up. And that's what we want for you. We want you to stop holding back. We want you to step much more into the purpose and the role in life that you're here to play. It might feel scary, but you know what? Not a single leader doesn't feel at some point terrified that they have to lead at such big level, but big or small, you're still leading someone. You're still the one with the torch in the darkness, and people follow you. There are people in the world. Not everyone is here to be leading. Even leaders need their own leaders occasionally. This is, we are here to inspire. It's a ripple effect that's happening. So we have to get over holding back or find ways. And I think human design, working with angelic forces, these things, they're helping us to not hold back. They're giving us this just extra little nudge when we need it, so that we can take this one little extra step that then suddenly we transcend it to the next level, like in a video game, right? Won the battle with the boss, and then suddenly we're in a new plane. We can relax for a while, explore, then the new boss will come up. I love how video games with this, when you have the boss at the end of the level, it's like life.
Yeah.
Everything is, this is how we are. So knowing the correctness, understanding this, and just letting go of the idea that something is wrong. It might be
Mm.
incorrect, and you'll know it. And don't push it when you know it. It doesn't matter that all the shiny gurus saying to you that, this is what you need to do. If it feels icky inside, I mean, really, truly icky, not your thing at all, you have a right not to do it. And that's where it's the right of not to do it is the right thing for you to do. It's the correct thing for you to do. So guys, if you have any questions for us, we're so open. Please reach out to either Anita or me, or leave a comment here if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you're watching or listening. We're here to talk you through this, to help you, to hold you, and we will see you in the next episode of the Lighthouse Projector series. Thank you again, and bye bye.